Hi everyone. I just want to thank you for your patience of putting up with me only doing one video out a week while I was recovering from my surgery. We're going to kick it back up again. This will be the last one for this week on the one video per week. And trying something new, doing a little stand-up. Because I figured this will give me more room to do things. New camera, hopefully it works out a little better as I learn it. And going forward. We just passed the new year. I am so pumped for 2019. So many things are going to be happening. As they happen, I don't want to say, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. I did that sneak peek where I was talking about moving, and that will be in 2019, but it hasn't happened yet. So I'm not going to talk about anything until it's like happened or about to happen, like literally within that week. So New Year's, I'm sure we all had a party or imbibed and enjoyed the vines of Bacchus and or Dionysus, depending on how you view it. I did a little bit. Somebody gave me, my best friend Dee gave me a bottle of Hypnotic. I'd never tried it before, and it was cool, pleasant. I recommended it to a few people. It made me think about hangovers. I've been really lucky. I've only had 2. And I was notoriously the person who, at least with wine, because my old enjoyment of the past when I was much younger was wine. I could drink most people under the table with wine. My first ever hangover made me go, oh my God, why would anyone want to put up with this? Why would you want to do this to yourself? I'm not a masochist in no way, shape, or form. Why would you put yourself through this much agony? When I was drinking in my teens, yes, no, not PC anymore. Oh, drinking in your teens. But when I was drinking in my teens, I was a puker. And I would reach this point where I'd take a sip and my stomach would go boop, and I go, oh, or just go running back up and stop. And I'm like, oh, wait. Maybe we should consider thinking about stopping this. Because if I didn't stop at that point, guaranteed the next sip or two, excuse me, I have to use the bathroom. Blah! That would be it. Just puke the entire thing up. And usually puke myself, at least I thought I was sober. Now I know more about the body, but I felt sober again. That did not mean for me to go back and take another drink. That meant you went too far. I detest puking. Absolutely detest it. It's so disgusting. It's right up there with spitting in my book. I did not want to do that, and I did it quite a few times when I was younger. But this one time, my first hangover, I was hanging out with my friend C, and we were teenagers, bored, all dressed up, no place to go. Literally. We were all dressed up to go to the city, but we had no money to go to the city. So we were wandering around. We'd had a beer or two from snuck, well, not really snuck, borrowed from his older brother's stash in the fridge. And we were just walking around on the train platform. And in my hometown, it was elevated over the tracks. As you saw in that video about my old damage, we were walking back and forth and going, oh man, I wish we had something to do. Wish we had money to go to the city. And I was looking past that was just a cat jumping on the bed, and I apologize for that. Just jumped up where I had my camera, and the whole thing was an earthquake. I noticed a bar across the way. And I said, oh, I remember the man that runs that. His name is Francis, you know, blah, blah, blah. And my friend's like, how do you know that? And I said, well, my grandma used to work there. She was the cook there, which I've mentioned before in my other video. It was a bar and grill. It had a front room that was chairs and tables that you could sit and eat, and the back, then you went down a step, and then there was the actual bar with the seats in front of it. Traditional bar. The place had been around. It had been a speakeasy in the 1920s. So it was older style inside, and lovely windows in the front. You know, it was actually didn't look like a bar. I said, oh man, you know, I said, hey, you know, I could probably get at least a free soda. We could go get some free sodas there or something. And my friend was like, oh yeah, whatever, you know, anything to, you know, stop standing around up on a train station, look like a bunch of dorks. We went down to the bar, and there was about 7 or 8 people in there. And this was an old person's bar. And what that meant was like no one under 40 would ever be in this bar. So they were kind of looking at us weird like we were coming in, but Francis saw me and he was like, it's little Becky, look at his little Rebecca, it's Stella's daughter, oh. And he was so happy to see me. He was also, as usual, once sundown came, he was quite lit because he was an alcoholic. But obviously not so much of an alcoholic that he didn't make a profit. He'd owned this place for years. He was so happy to see me, and he's like, here, please sit. And we sat down at one of the tables, and he brought 2 sodas out and gave one to my friend and one to me. And I looked down at the soda and I went, Francis, you forgot. I always have the maraschino cherry in it. That's the way you always served it to me when I was a little kid, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 years old, going to bars with my parents. So I always had Coke with a little cherry in it. And he's like, oh. And he was sitting down at the table with us about to catch up. He's like, oh, you know where it is behind the bar, go get it. And I said, okay. So I picked up my drink and I went back, you know, behind the bar. And I'm sitting there looking for it. I find the maraschino cherries, but the thought occurs to me, I have all this liquor here. All of it, that I could put some in because no one's paying attention to what I'm doing. I take some whiskey, put some in my drink, put the maraschino cherry, get it to where it tastes good. Wasn't much in the beginning, it was just a little tiny bit. And I went back to the chair, sat down with the rest of them. I said, see? I said, take a sip. Doesn't it taste better with the maraschino cherry in it? He sips. He looks at me. Yeah, yes, it does. It does taste so much better with the maraschino cherry. Do you want a cherry? He's like, yes, please. Would you get me a cherry? Not a problem. So I go back and I make my special Coke and cherry for him. We go back. And so time's passing. And I'm going back and forth making sodas because, like I said, Francis is getting drunker and drunker while we're sitting there talking. The bar is emptying out. My friend, C, was taking lessons to play organ. So when Francis found that out, he was like, really? So you know what to do in an organ? He's like, yes. He's like, ah, because he had this big organ covered in plastic because no one ever played it with him. We're talking like 3 or 4 rows of keys on it, sliders and all kinds of good stuff. He's like, I'll let you play my organ. And he's like, come over. And so he had him playing tunes, and C was playing like 1920s, 1930s stuff, like, you know. So we're getting more and more drunk, and I'm knowing that as I'm pouring in more and more of the whiskey, it's going from 1/4 of an inch to more. And I know at some point I was actually probably putting like half the glass was whiskey. And we're playing the music, and me and him are talking, and me and Francis are talking, and we're having a good old time. Finally, around about, oh God, I don't know, I mean, we were there 3-4 hours maybe, or more. It's about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And unlike the younger bars, this bar tended to close up around 1 or 2 in the morning. Basically, whenever Francis was too shit-faced to even be able to function anymore behind it. And he was like, you know, it's getting late. I need to, you know, he's like, I'm going to close up the bar and I'm going to go up to bed. And go to bed, I'm tired. He's like, I had so much fun talking to you and da-da-da, and you playing the music and whatever. And we're like, thank you. So we pick ourselves up, wander out of the bar. We are drunk. We are drunk like you have in those movies where you have the 2 people walking along going, I love you, man. Yeah, I love you totally. Yeah, you're my best. But we're like that. We're not falling down drunk. We're not that bad. But we can't do a straight line. So we're walking home. It says about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And we're walking home, and we're probably talking way too loud. And we start singing. And now we're in a sort of kind of residential area. I didn't think this happened outside of a movie, but apparently it does. We're like, ah. I have no idea what the hell we were singing. We were singing all kinds of weird stuff. Somebody in one of the houses on the block throws the window open like, shut up! People are trying to sleep in here. And we were like, oh, shh, go, be quiet, shh, quiet, you be quiet. And he's like, yeah, we gotta be quiet, man. Shh, 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 shh. So I didn't think people really did that, but remember doing it. We finally come to where we have to part, and he goes his way, and I wander home. I wake up the next morning. I am completely experiencing, I think I slept maybe 4 hours. Not even. I don't even remember. My eyes are like sandpaper. The headache is just like, oh God. My stomach is flip, 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 flip. I even tried to puke before I went to bed and nothing would happen. I'm like, oh, this may not be a good thing. And it wasn't. So I'm feeling sick as could be. And I'm like, oh, hopefully this will go away. And I'm trying to, we didn't have the internet back then, so I didn't know what to do, but I'm trying to like, please, I can't eat, I'm trying to drink some water, and that's making me want to puke. Around afternoon, C calls me up and says, you want to go to the mall? And I said, yeah, I'll go to the mall with you. So anything to take my mind off of feeling sick. So we bebop out take the bus out to the mall. And we're wandering around, and I've got sunglasses on in the mall because my eyes are hurting so much. And he's acting like nothing. He looks perfectly fine. I said, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm perfectly fine. Yeah. And he's being a dick, you know. I mean, he's totally like, you know, is your head hurting you? Blah, blah, blah. You know, and he's doing all this stuff that just drive me crazy. It's about like lunchtime, late lunch, and he's like, I'm like, you know, are you up for getting something to eat? And he's like, yeah, let's do. No, up until this point, he'd been saying, no, I'm not hungry. I ate before I left the house, blah, blah, blah. So we finally sit down, and I think we had, you know, the large pretzels. And we were in a McDonald's or something. We sat down, and we started eating. My stomach had calmed down enough to eat. And he's eating, and after, you know, he's about a couple bites, and he's like, oh my God, this tastes so good. I'm like, what do you mean it tastes so good? He's like, oh, my stomach's been so sick, I haven't been able to eat anything all damn day. And I was like, you bastard! You've been driving me crazy. You've been making fun of my headache. You've been saying loud things so my head hurts more. You've been making fun of my sunglasses and the whole 9 yards, and you were just as hungover as me. He's like, well, yeah, of course I was. He's like, he's like, but, you know, I wasn't as bad as you. So once we ate, of course, it felt a little bit better and got liquids in it, which is, again, an important thing. So that was my first hangover. The second hangover, and the last one I ever had, was some almost 25 years later. It was after my husband passed away, and a local bar was having an LGBT night. And my other friend, a different friend, was told me about it, and he's like, oh, we got to go and support. We got to be there. We got to be, you know, support our people. And I said, sure, I'll be there. When is it? He's like, it's Friday night or whatever night. I think it was Thursday night. I'm not sure. Anyway, I said, well, I got work that night because I was working part-time. I was working full-time at one job and part-time at another. And it was Christmas time. I was working at a dollar store part-time to have some extra money. He's like, okay. He's like, I'll meet you at the bar. You know, I said, I don't get out of work till 10 o'clock. He's like, well, you know, I'll meet you at the bar. It's around a little after 10, and I get to the bar, and I'm looking around. He's not there. So at that time, I drank rum and Coke. So I had a rum and Coke, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. 45 minutes goes by. And they made really strong drinks at this place. And I'm waiting, and now hours gone by, and the bar lady's like, she's like, yeah, you okay? You need another drink? I'm like, no, I'm waiting for my friend. He's supposed to be showing up. So finally, after about, I think an hour and a half, he finally strolls in, and he's with a mutual friend that is an alcoholic who somehow attached to him earlier in the evening. That's why he was so late getting there. And I was pissed. And I was just like, man, what the hell happened to you, man? And he's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And, he's here with me. And I said, why did you bring him? Other than, yes, he's gay and he should be at this thing, but he's completely fucked. He's like, well, I couldn't get rid of him, I'm like, yes, you. So he after a few minutes, he dumps the alcoholic on me and wanders out to, be on the dance floor with his other friend, a female friend that he brought. And I'm watching the alcoholic. I'm trying to keep him from drinking more, and he's just doing straight shots of, not shots. He's getting a drink. What the hell did he do? I don't remember, but he drank it straight. And so he's getting shit-faced, and I'm like, this is so boring. I mean, I know I'm supposed to be supporting and showing that we come out. Maybe they'll keep this as, LGBT night, and we'll have a night for ourselves in this bar. But between this and this, I had another drink. Actually, total drinks, I had 2.5 drinks. And they were so strong, and they were hitting me hard. And I was like, you know what, I looked at the time, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I remembered I had to be in work at 8 a.m. And I was like, oh God, and I went over to my friend, R, and I was like, look, I said, I gotta go. I got work. He's over there, pointing to the alcoholic. He's your problem now. I'm gone. So I wander out, and the cold air actually feels so good. Like I said, it was December. It was about 2 weeks before Christmas. And I was like, oh, this feels so good. And I'm walking home. I was about a 20-minute walk from the place. I get maybe 500 feet, maybe 1,000 feet, and all of a sudden, and it seems so natural, I projectile vomit. And I'm like, wow. That's how drunk I was. I was like, wow. I did that rather neatly, didn't I? I walked home. Still feeling fine, just being drunk. I get home, my son is, he's like, you smell like a brewery. I'm like, I didn't drink beer. I get in the house, I get ready, I lie down in bed, the bed spins start. I'm like, oh God, no, please, no. Oh God, please, don't do this to me. Not bed spins. I need to get some sleep. I gotta be in work at 8 o'clock in the morning. I get up, I'm in the bathroom. Yeah. Blah. Not even worship. I was worshiping the porcelain god, but then I was worshiping his apprentice, the smaller porcelain god, the sink. And I'm like this for just blah. Now I'm dry heaving. Nothing. I'm still puking. There's nothing left in my stomach, but I can't stop puking. This has been going on for like a half an hour. 45 minutes, actually. My son, the phone rings. I'm like, who the fuck? He's calling at this hour. God damn it. My son comes to, he's like, it's R. He wants to know if you're home. I told him you're a little incapacitated right now, that you're busy puking in the sink. And I was like, stupid, fuck. I pull my head up out of the sink. I'm like, stupid, fuck. I'm like, I didn't even notice I left the bar 45 minutes ago. I'm like, asshole. Blah. Blah. So finally, it's around 3-ish. I finally stop puking. I'm like, oh God, what's wrong with me? Maybe I'm getting sick. Oh my God, why is this happening? I'm like, okay. I go to the couch. I sit down in the living room couch. I'm like, okay, we gotta get some sleep. We gotta wake up for work in the morning. We gotta get some sleep. It's the last thing I remember. I fell asleep sitting up. My son had put a lap blanket over my shoulders, and I wake, and then the next minute it seemed like only like a half an hour had gone by, and my son's like, Mom? Mom, don't you have work this morning? I'm like, huh? I look around. I'm like, I fell asleep sitting up? What the fuck? I have a blanket on me? I don't remember the blanket. I put the blanket around you. Oh, okay. Oh God, I feel awful. And I look and it's 8:06. Oh my God, I feel so sick. Oh my God, I should have been at work 6 minutes ago. I can't go to work. I call out, I call out. I call up, I call out. I had a hangover for 3 days. I literally had a headache for 3 days, upset stomach, burning eyes, whatever. And I was like, I could not figure out what was wrong. Why did I have one? I only had 2.5 drinks. And I was telling my daughter, and she's making fun of me, telling me like I'm acting like a child. How could you act like this? You're over 40, blah, blah, blah. Finally, we were talking about the night, and she sits down and she says, wait a minute. Did you just say you had taken something for a stuffed up nose? And I said, yeah. About 8 o'clock, I took an antihistamine because I had a stuffed up nose. She's like, you know you're not supposed to drink alcohol with that kind of stuff. And I had forgotten I'd taken the pill. So, that warning they put on the back, never mix alcohol with antihistamines. And so, yeah, oh my God, I was so, yes, do not ever do that. You will be so fucked up, you will never understand what happened. So that's my 2 hangovers. I want to thank you for stopping by, listening to me ramble. If you've got any ideas you want to hear me talk about, or any, did this ever happen to you, or what have you, please tell me down below. I want to thank you for listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.